Oh hey there, did you beat the story of Final Fantasy XIV? You beat the final boss, and now you're probably thinking, wow! That was way too easy. Haha, yep, just like your mother, it was pretty easy. Maybe it's time for you to tackle on something harder like extremes. Oh, is that still too easy? Okay, what about savages? What? You want to do something even more challenging? Alright, well, there's only one thing left for you to do. ERP. Ultimates are the ultimate challenge of this game. Hey, calm down. I thought it was funny. They are the true test of whether you're a real gamer or not. Today, I will be sharing my not so fabulous experience of running ultimates, and man, was it something. Filled with a little bit of crime from my part, a little bit of drama, but you know what? That's the ultimate experience, baby. But before I share that, let me do a little breakdown of what ultimates are and things about them. At the moment, we have 4 ultimates. We have the Unending Coil of Bahamut, aka UCOB, the Weapons Refrain, aka Uwu, don't ask me how, the Epic of Alexander T, and Dragon Song's Reprise, aka DSR. This is all ordered by release, with a 5th ultimate on the way, the Omega Protocol, top. If you're a cat boy or a bunny boy, well then you can't do top because you guys are goddamn bottoms. So which one should you do? Well, after you unlock them, it's a matter of preference. Want to do them in order of release? Well then just go by the list here. Want to see a list based on difficulty? Most would say this is kind of how the order would be. Or if you want to do it based on rewards like titles and weapons, avoid a UCOB because their piss-colored weapons look awful. Unlocking most of the ultimates is fairly easy. All you really have to do is unsync most of the old raids required to unlock them and you're in. The hard part is deciding whether you should do ultimates or not, and if you're asking me, no. They're pure torture, don't do ultimates. Let me explain. Ask yourself this question. Do you enjoy being shot at? One of the biggest problems that ultimates have is the fact that they're a huge time sink, and ultimates really only appeal to a very small niche of players in the game, the hardcore raiders. So the pool of players available for ultimates is kinda small. I'm not even joking you, the easiest part about ultimates is probably learning the mechanics once you got everyone in. The hardest part is scheduling. Okay, and well, the other hard part is actually dealing with the PvP that comes with ultimate raiding, such as your teammates throwing Twister onto you. Gotta love it.
Look at this.
When it comes to finding the players, we have 2 flavors of hurt. Party Finder and Statics. Party Finder for the people who don't have friends, yes, let's be honest here. And Statics for people who want to go in a group and have your hand held. That's me, I like doing that. The thing about PF is that it allows you to go at any pace you want to go. You're not held down by a schedule or a group. But if you've never had trust issues before, well, you're about to have some. Here's a little tip. If a group says they're currently progging at, like, say, the 3rd phase of a fight, trying to get into the 4th phase, they're really at the 2nd phase trying to clean things up. If they're a clear party, then I'm Brad Pitt. And if it's a re-clear party, expect people who've never cleared before to try to get into that party. So what I'm saying here is, trust nobody. Not even yourself. Something that I found to be a downside in PF is that you don't really have shot calling as a thing, which means you really have to just understand your role and mechanics very well. And let's just be real for a second here. If you're slacking or not doing so well in a PF group, strangers will be more ready to flame you. The flaming doesn't happen all the time and you might get lucky and never run into it, but the possibility is still there, so just be ready. It won't be as bad as Modern Warfare 2 lobbies back in the day, but you know, it still hurts to get yelled at. While you can totally clear content on PF without shot calling, I like having it just to kind of feel more, you know, safer, more comfier. I'm a goddamn baby. But the problem with Statics is the fact that you're anchored to a schedule. Progress will be slow if you guys do not meet up frequently enough. In exchange, you do get a bit more comfortability. Whether raiding with people that you know and or you have a great shot caller, you have a bit more of a secure feeling. So, if you're a scared little baby like me, gather up some people and go rent ultimates with. As most of you know, I am Kougaon, the terrible black mage player. I had big dreams of running ultimates and, you know, clearing them. But I had a really big problem when it came to running ultimates, and that's, I suck. Back when I was a little baby player, I wanted to do T because the music in T was good and, you know, robots excite me. But when the idea of me wanting to run ultimates came up, a lot of friends actually told me to do the one and only UCOB as my first ultimate. If somebody's telling you to do UCOB as your first ultimate, that basically translates to, I hate you, please jump off a bridge. I didn't even care for UCOB. I don't even like the yellow butter colored weapons, and I've never even done the Coils of Bahamut like the normal version, not even the Savage one prior, so I don't know anything about this side of the game. And the worst part is, I thought it was the easiest of all the ultimates. No. I thought maybe, you know, going in, few pulls, I would have gotten it like in less than a week. Nope! Please note, this was prior to all my ultimate knowledge. To make matters worse, I was playing as a black mage. A black mage at level 70, which is probably the worst time to play a black mage. You know, how you get to spend your polyglots on an AoE foul instead of despair. Fun times. And to make things even more miserable, I had to run with multiple different groups, so it wasn't so smooth for me at all. But it wasn't because I was being like so bad that people didn't want to play with me. I think. Things just come up, and if you don't have things planned properly, it just falls all apart. Now, group number 1 was supposed to be a clear for 4, and I was totally down for the idea of having 4 of my friends who haven't cleared before to try to learn this fight, you know, make it so it's not so much of a carry by me and 7 other players who've cleared the fight. Things were going pretty well until we learned we were in a time crunch. Here's a little tip. Do not schedule any kind of raid groups or anything around a big patch drop. 6.20 was around the corner and people wanted to play that as soon as it drops, and it was a new raid tier, so people really wanted to get on that for Savages. And I couldn't blame them. The new raid tier looked really fun, the armor and rewards looked great, and the heavy music was pretty nice. So with the time crunch, I really had to step up the progging for our group because we could have missed our window to clear, and I was getting really afraid about that. And oh, I got so bad to the point where I had to tell people who couldn't keep up in the group to bow out so others can get their clear as soon as possible. It went from like 4 people who haven't cleared the fight to like 2 and eventually just 1, me being the only one left. And all of that went to nothing because I ended up closing the group because it was just in time for 6.2 and I decided, you know what, it's not happening, we can't get this clear. So no UCOB clear. It was really devastating to me because I think, honestly, I thought it was my chance to finally shine and actually prove my worth as a good player and see how much I've grown, but it just didn't work out. I went to a slightly depressive state and just didn't talk to anyone for a bit, but I got out of it. But just then, when I thought I lost all hope, another group approached me. They wanted me to get this clear before the patch drop. They were determined, they were ready, they were experienced raiders. They were like, Ko, we got you. Let's do this. And so we head right into the instance and we didn't get the clear. It wasn't even close. I appreciated their offer, but we didn't end up clearing, and it was already time for 6.2, so that was that. People are now gonna be busy with the patch, and I wouldn't be able to clear this fight for a long while. 2 failed groups back to back, but there was a silver lining. I eventually was reached out by a friend of mine, Lacia Everlight, who invited me to a group to prog the new tier. It took my brain off UCOB for a bit, and I was determined to play well for this group. I played out of my goddamn mind! Just kidding, don't look at my funny numbers, they're really bad. And that was my first ever instance of clearing a Savage tier with a group at current day, and honestly, I wanted to try something harder again. With the raid tier done, I decided it was time to go back to UCOB. It was around November of 2022, and I wanted to clear this fight before the end of the year, so I grabbed my friends Lamatod and Crystal for this. This time, we were making big progress. We were getting past Heaven's Fall mechanic. We were finally seeing ads finally. People had to drop sometimes, we had to get some subs, but honestly, we were making big progress regardless still. And even though we had great progress, no group is really free of drama, and we had a little bit of that. But just when you thought I learned my lesson regarding time crunches, I really didn't. November is like the start of holidays with Thanksgiving, and then a few weeks later, it's like basically preparing for Christmas, and then like actually celebrating Christmas, then New Year's. So this was the worst time to prog. Now with another time crunch, it was looking really bleak. I was getting scared that people were gonna drop out of this fight and not have time for it in the future, and man, I was just like, I just wanna clear this goddamn fight! We met 2 times a week for 3-hour sessions, and that was honestly not enough. It was looking really scary. But then, Sunday, December 11th rolled around. Crystal came up to me with her friends, telling me they were willing to help me prog outside of the scheduled time and willing to maybe help me get the clear. You know, I was skeptical. I was like, can we really clear, you know? And she just told me, let me know if you want to do it. And I said, of course I want to do it. I want to get this goddamn clear. So we assembled a squad, and after an hour into progging,
get on my wings.
Okay.
What's that funny, bro?
I don't know why that's so funny. Ooh!
You just get 2 for you're stacking under the boss, and the party will be going.
Melee will be.
Alright, Joshi, don't leave the instance.
I had never even seen Golden Bahamut, aka the last phase, and I just went in there and went focus mode. I finally cleared this stupid fight, and honestly, during the moment, it didn't even like feel like it happened. I was just like, I should have died right here, but I didn't. I had no idea how I dodged this right here. Honestly, that was totally on accident, but I'm gonna tell everybody that was on purpose. It was a clear for 1, so 7 people in the party have already cleared the fight, just made things a little bit easier. It is what it is. Also, if I could just do a quick shout out to my friend, Crystal, thank you so much for assembling the group of your friends, I appreciate it. And shout outs for Todd as well for teaching me a lot of the fight. And to make my day even more crazier, we just went into Uwu and just cleared it, and in one day I became a no legend to double legend. Okay, double legend in one day. I have to do T now! No! Here's my final bit of advice for anybody who wants to run Ultimates. Find a group of dedicated players. It doesn't matter if they're bad or good, cleared or not. Find someone who's hungry to help or hungry for a clear. Make a schedule when there's no time crunch. Look out for potential holidays coming up, patch updates. Nothing kills a person's motivation for clearing faster than people wanting to dip out of a group. And lastly, just keep forging ahead. Just like my story, I struggled to get the clear for about like 6 months, 4 months or so. I still came back after my first group dissolve and I got the clear eventually. If you keep at it, you will get the clear one day, I assure you. And at the end of the day, getting that clear was what matters, right? Doesn't matter how long it takes. If you've never beaten an Ultimate in this game, well, don't let that affect you as a player. If you haven't beaten one, that doesn't mean you're a bad player at all. Ultimates are a huge time sink and not everybody has the energy or the time to do it. But that feeling when you conquer an Ultimate is probably one of the best gaming pop-offs ever. So after everything I said, after all the advice, I just want to say, don't do Ultimates, just go ERP instead.